Ensure that the motion sensor light, bathroom exhaust fan, and laundry exhaust fan are all connected to the same circuit. Check the circuit breaker or fuse panel to verify this. Turn off all other lights and appliances on the circuit except for the motion sensor light and the exhaust fans. If the issue persists, it is likely related to the motion sensor light or the exhaust fans. Ensure the motion sensor is clean and free of debris. Check for loose connections or damage to the wiring inside the fixture. If any issues are found, repair or replace the motion sensor light. Turn off the motion sensor light and turn on only one exhaust fan at a time. Observe if the motion light turns on when the exhaust fan is switched off. If it does, there may be a problem with the exhaust fan motor or its wiring. In rare cases, there may be cross-wiring or leakage between the exhaust fan circuit and the motion sensor light circuit. Contact a qualified electrician to inspect the wiring for any irregularities. Ensure that the motion sensor light and exhaust fans are properly grounded. Incorrect grounding can cause electrical interference and unexpected behavior. Check for loose or disconnected neutral wires, which can cause unexpected electrical currents to flow and trigger the motion light. When the exhaust fans are turned off, the motors can generate a surge of back electromotive force, abbreviated EMF, that briefly flows through the circuit. This can trigger the motion sensor light if it is sensitive to electrical noise. A loose neutral connection in the exhaust fan or the motion sensor light can allow current to flow through the ground wire, which can activate the motion light. If hot and neutral wires are accidentally reversed or connected incorrectly, it can cause electrical interference and trigger the motion light when the exhaust fans are switched off. The motion sensor itself may be defective and responding to changes in electrical currents rather than motion. Now let us consider some of these items in more detail. Confirming the circuit wiring firstly involves locating your electrical panel and identifying the circuit breaker that controls the motion sensor light, bathroom exhaust fan, and laundry exhaust fan. Secondly, make sure that when the breaker is off, all three devices lose power, and when the breaker is on, all three devices receive power. If any of the devices are on a different circuit, this could be the cause of the problem. Isolating the problem, firstly, involves turning off all other lights and appliances on the identified circuit except for the motion sensor light and the exhaust fans. Secondly, test the exhaust fans again, observing if the motion sensor light still turns on when they are switched off. If the issue persists, it indicates the problem is related to either the motion sensor light or the exhaust fans themselves, or the wiring directly associated with them. Inspecting the motion sensor light. Firstly, begin by visually checking the motion sensor light fixture. Secondly, ensure the sensor lens is clean and free from any obstructions like dust, dirt, spider webs, or debris that might interfere with its operation. Thirdly, carefully inspect the wiring connections inside the fixture for any loose wires, corroded terminals, or signs of damage. Fourthly, if you find any loose connections, tighten them securely. Fifthly, if you notice any damaged wiring, repair or replace it as needed. Sixthly, if the motion sensor light has adjustable sensitivity settings, experiment with different settings to see if it resolves the issue. Troubleshooting the exhaust fans. Firstly, you should turn off the motion sensor light temporarily to prevent it from interfering with the testing. Secondly, turn on only one exhaust fan at a time and then switch it off. Thirdly, carefully observe if the motion light turns on when the exhaust fan is switched off. Fourthly, repeat this process for each exhaust fan individually. Fifthly, if the motion light turns on when a specific exhaust fan is switched off, there might be a problem with that particular exhaust fan motor or its wiring. Cross-wiring or leakage. Firstly, this is a less common scenario, but it is still possible, especially in older homes or cases where electrical work has been done incorrectly. Secondly, cross-wiring refers to situations where wires from different circuits are accidentally connected, causing electrical interference. Thirdly, leakage can occur when there is a fault in the wiring insulation, allowing current to flow through unintended paths. Fourthly, due to the complexity and potential danger involved, it is best to contact a qualified electrician to inspect the wiring for any irregularities. Grounding issues. Firstly, grounding is a critical safety feature in electrical systems that provides a path for stray electrical currents to flow back to the source, preventing electrical shocks and minimizing the risk of fire. Secondly, incorrect grounding can lead to electrical interference and unexpected behavior in sensitive electronic devices like motion sensor lights. Thirdly, ensure that both the motion sensor light and the exhaust fans are properly grounded according to local electrical codes and regulations. Fourthly, check the grounding connections at the fixtures, electrical boxes, and grounding electrodes to ensure they are secure and free from corrosion. Loose neutrals. Firstly, neutral wires are an essential part of electrical circuits, providing a return path for current to flow back to the source. Secondly, a loose or disconnected neutral wire can disrupt the flow of electricity and cause unexpected electrical currents to flow through other paths, such as the ground wire. Thirdly, this can trigger sensitive electronic devices like motion sensor lights. Fourthly, carefully inspect the neutral connections at the motion sensor light, exhaust fans, and electrical panel. Fifthly, make sure that the connections are tight, secure, and free from corrosion. Regarding back EMF from exhaust fans, firstly, when an exhaust fan motor is running, it generates a magnetic field. Secondly, when the fan is switched off, the collapsing magnetic field induces a voltage surge, known as back electromotive force or back EMF in the circuit. Thirdly, if the motion sensor light is particularly sensitive to electrical noise or voltage fluctuations, this back EMF surge can trigger it, causing it to turn on briefly. Fourthly, one solution to mitigate back EMF issues is to install a snubber circuit or a surge suppressor across the terminals of the exhaust fan motor. Fifthly, this can help to dampen the voltage surge and prevent it from affecting the motion sensor light. Contact a qualified electrician to diagnose the issue accurately and implement the necessary repairs or replacements to resolve the electrical occurrence.